Today we're going to have a 12 minutes overview of Shanghai City, and we'll start by watching this video that shows Shanghai from above. And the city itself has grown over the years and has become so popular, like one of the most popular cities in the world. You can see right there the infrastructure is quite important here. Like, we've got one of the tallest buildings in the world. This one you see right here is called the Jingmao Tower, the World Trade Center, and it was one of the tallest buildings in China and even in the world in 2008. But then lots of other buildings just standing right next to it have been constructed. And the special tower there with the red ball is called the Oriental Pearl TV Tower. In Chinese we call it the Dongfeng Mingju. This tower is like the special landmark of Shanghai. It shows the originality of the city from where the city grew. That's where it started, like a fishing village along the Huangpu River. So we've got the tallest building you can see right there. It's called the Shanghai Tower. This building, it's one of the tallest buildings in the world. It's like the tallest habitable building in the world. It's compared with Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world, though not habitable. It's tallest peak. And from here we can see some of the tall skyscrapers along the Huangpu River. The Huangpu River is quite a busy river, and there is a lot of transportation, both for touristy purposes and for commercial purposes. There are buses and boats that go over the river from left to right and cross the river. And from here you can see the city from above. Let's have a look. Shanghai is a great metropolitan city with a population over 30 million people, covering a very huge surface area, and the population size is far more than some of the countries in Europe, Africa, or Asia. And when you look at the population see here, you might be wondering if there is congestion in anything. But the infrastructure, the transportation network, the construction, the building, the commercial and habitable buildings are quite provided for in a way that everyone seems to have a place, and there is a lot more space left for many to come in and many to grow. And in the city, you realize that the city is blended with tall skyscrapers amidst villas and low-case buildings in order to accommodate the population. And when you stand here and look the city from this end, you realize that there is a huge river, the Huangpu River, separating the city into two halves, making it majorly called the Shanghai two regions. The Pudong area, Pudong means the Huangpu to the east area, and the Puxi is the Huangpu to the west, which makes it easy to circulate or to go about in the city and to locate yourself exactly which half of the city you are in. Each of these regions are balancedly developed, but the Puxi area seems to be like the older town of Shanghai, where there was much more habitation and there's really little space for further development in this area. But if you go straight to the Pudong area, where there is still mass space for construction, and with districts that are combined into forming the Pudong new area, Pudong Xinchuan. The Pudong area of Shanghai, which also called the Pudong New Area, or in Chinese the Pudong Xinchuan, composes of several districts. Some of them being the Nanhui district, the Jinshan district, the Lingang district, which also carries a free trade area. And all of these, they've got lots of autonomous free trade zone in this district. However, this is a fast growing part of Shanghai, and we will have time in the future in my videos to go to examine some of the details of this area that make it super fun and super administratively great. In terms of transportation, Shanghai is divided into ring roads, and we have the inner ring road, the middle ring road, and the outer ring roads. We also have the Nambe Gaoja, Jiaming Gaoja Lu, Huming Gaoja Lu. We have lots of elevated highways that chain the whole city above, and these equally have a lot of usable roads down, and subway systems. These roads, although has restriction as to number of plates, are they quite facilitate transportation in the city of Shanghai. If you aren't driving, you might be using the Didi, the Dida taxi systems, or the normal taxi, the Danzhong taxi system. But without that, there are equally buses that link the major areas of Shanghai, and the subway system is quite complex and is quite facilitating. Both in English and in Chinese, you could get directives to get wherever you want to go to. I will continue to talk about the people in Shanghai, and I told you earlier that the population of Shanghai is about 30 million inhabitants, and this is kind of excluding the foreigners that come in from different countries. And there is quite a huge population of foreigners. It's like the most populated cities with foreigners in China. And so when we look at the population of China, we got two sets of people, actually three sets of people. One is called the Bandiren, the locals of Shanghai. These people live in different districts, and they speak a specific language in these districts. It's called like the Shanghai Hua, which is a language used by the people in the inner circle of Shanghai during the districts of Jing'an, the districts of Jiabe, Putuo, Huangpu, Luban, and these are the city areas, and they speak the Shanghai Hua, the independent Shanghai Hua. However, other districts like the Jinshan district, the Jiading district, the Songjiang district, the outskirts districts of Shanghai, the suburb districts of Shanghai, they equally speak their own local languages, and these languages are a little bit similar to the Shanghai Hua, but then those from Shanghai in general could listen and understand each other, but there is a difference in dialects being used in this area. However, this is like the first population resident in this great city of Shanghai. We've got the outsiders. We call that in Chinese the Waidiren. The Waidiren are those from China who come in from different provinces to live in the city of Shanghai. Shanghai being a metropolitan city and being the first commercial city of China and being the economic center of China, it attracts populations from all over China to come settle here to try to get their dreams. If you look at New York City and the population that goes there in pursuit of big dreams to view big lights, that's the same thing with Shanghai and even more. Because we've got lots of universities here in Shanghai that are quite popular, and ones in China is much more characteristic, because when you grow up in a city like Shanghai and you go to a school in Shanghai, you are automatically graded among the top classes of China, because there is what we call in China the hukou system, the system which links you up to your region of birth, to your abilities, and it also qualifies you to be a member of the community, like the Dan Yuan, a member of the party. They consider your intellectual ability, they consider your background, they consider lots of things about you, which is typically a key success point to the growth of China as a whole. So we have the Waidiren. Some of them study here, or their parents moved here and their parents didn't gain the Shanghai citizenship, so they continuously remain the Waidiren. And here they still have to go through lots of processes to live here every day. They have to do the local registration, they have to own a lot of facilities in order for their kids to go to school, they have to go through a point system in order for their kids to get access to the public schools here. However, this point system doesn't work much more for kids in the lower levels of learning. It works more like in the public kindergartens, and but in the early primaries, this is open for everyone. But when you go into middle school, when you begin to class your intelligence and class your locality, that's when they require lots of point system in order to gain access to better universities or better educational institutions. This is called the Waidiren. there are a huge majority of them, and they work here, they make money here, they go back home during the holidays, and they spend time with the family, and they enjoy the bustling of the metropolitan cities. It doesn't mean the cities they are from are just so little. It's just a better city, bigger dreams, bigger life. And the third group of people living in Shanghai are the Lao Wai. These are people from other countries, where those who go through lots of immigration systems to settle down in this country. Right in front of me right now is a map of China, and you can see where Shanghai is located. And right now is the map of Shanghai, the district map of Shanghai. You can see Shanghai's got about 13 districts, and I will name them. One is Jiading, Putuo, Baoshan, Jiabei, Luwan, Jing'an. Jing'an was kind of merged with Jiabei recently. And then we have Songjiang, and we have Nanhui, we have Pudong, and then we have Pudong Xinchuan, we have Lingang, and we have Jinshan, and we have the Chongming Island, which is an independent district and an island on its own. And these are basically the districts in Shanghai. And when you see here, Shanghai's got a huge metro network that is covered a huge transportation system with roads and networks and bridges. This is called the Nampo Bridge. It's one of the most beautiful bridges you can find in the world. This is going across the Nampo River, and we got like about 8 bridges and 8 tunnels passing across, under and above this river. And here we are. This is a tunnel, one of the tunnels. This is probably the Zhonggang Road tunnel, and the transportation also have a lot of ships going over the Huangpu River. Here we can see the beautiful bridge, the Huangpu Bridge, the Lupu Bridge. And this bridge is quite beautiful at night. It's so colorful. This is the Huangpu Bridge, and this is Shanghai Tower, the tallest building in Shanghai and around the world. And we have touristy ships. Shanghai has about 6 subway train stations, the biggest of which is the Hongqiao train station, which accommodates most of the speed trains, and the Shanghai Railway Station, the Shanghai West Railway Station, the Shanghai South Railway Station. We got lots of railway stations. And we've got 2 airports in Shanghai, the Pudong International Airport and the Hongqiao International Airport, added to some of the smaller airports that do not accommodate international travels. This is the Pudong International Airport. Hongqiao has one of the biggest airport terminals in the world, and this is where we come to an end. Thank you for watching. See you.